With geopolitical tensions rising, trade becoming weaponized, and global capital rapidly shifting, even wealthy family offices are asking one question: where is money truly safe today? Welcome to the Rendezvous from Wen Wei Po. I'm Raymond Chang. Today's guest is Mel Henrik, founder of Global Sources and chairman of the Henrik Foundation. Long before Alibaba, he built one of Asia's earliest global sourcing platforms, connecting Asian manufacturers with buyers worldwide. In fact, many people believe Jack Ma's early Alibaba model was inspired by his business. But this interview isn't just about entrepreneurship. We talk about geopolitical risk, family office strategy, global trade tensions, and whether Hong Kong can still serve as a safe haven for international capital in an increasingly unstable world. This is the perspective of a man who has spent 6 decades at the center of global trade. Mr. Henrik, thank you very much for allowing us to interview you. Well, if I may, let's start with the current rise in global geopolitical uncertainty, including the situation in the Middle East and the shipping security issues that we have these days. Well, these obviously created challenges for global supply chain and trade. So how do you view the future evolution of global trade landscape? Are there any trends in global trade today that you believe deserve more attention but are often overlooked?
Well, first of all, there is absolutely no shortage of problems facing global trade today. And not only the problems in the Middle East and the Ukraine and the embargoes which are being imposed on oil, the issues of tariffs, etc. So, and supply chains, of course, and then needless to say, the confrontation between China and the United States. So we really have no shortages. I think that if I was to focus on one, with which I think is really quite problematic, it is really the weaponization of trade. The weaponization of trade basically creates a distrust, right? And through distrust, of course, brings about protectionism. People become less certain, people become uncertain of their future, country's future, and so countries become more protectionism. What this leads to, of course, is industrial policy. And industrial policy comes in many forms. It can be supplemented basically through tariffs, or it can be included in terms of subsidies, or it can be impacted by a lot of other non-tariff related issues. But unfortunately, what happens with this is that we could face a recession. Worse, we could face a depression. And there are historical comparatives to this. So we are facing a very slippery slope. So if there's one thing that really troubles me, is how the different countries are addressing the issue of trade and in many ways weaponizing it. And that's really quite unfortunate.
I see. So we're talking about, I'm pretty sure you're not going to weaponize trade in any way, and that's why you founded the Henrik Foundation. Well, is it dedicated to sustainable global trade in some ways? Or what was your original motivation for establishing the foundation? How does the foundation actually contribute to and support sustainable global trade?
Well, after we were really quite successful with Global Sources and exiting Global Sources, I decided I really wanted my contribution going forward was to continue contributing to the development of global trade. Global trade that is scalable, that is mutually beneficial. And the only way that I could really do that is a continuation of my commitment to education, and also education, of course, associated with the research that is associated with what are the issues, what are the problems going forward, and what is not advocating a particular situation, but providing a neutral voice, a voice that hopefully can see these issues from a variety of perspectives. And indeed, there are many, many views on literally every element of trade. So the foundation is really about supporting and sustaining and helping trade grow.
I see. So in addition to the foundation, you also have your own family office. Well, in the current environment, what is your investment strategy? Well, I see you have a painting here saying strategy in Chinese.
Yes, yes.
So how has your investment allocation changed compared to before? And what asset hedging strategies have you been adopting?
Our objective, my objective, has always been to try to achieve a return of a CPI plus 3%. Okay? But any investment objective has to do with what your risk tolerance is. So if you would like to have a very substantial return on your money, then you better be prepared to take some substantial risks. In our case, we are a family office, as you've said. We have a foundation. So our tolerance for risk is probably moderate. Maybe there are certain areas that we invest in which are not moderate, but we try to maintain this CPI plus 3%.
I see. So could you share some investment strategy, some kind of advice with our viewers?
Well, I think that one always has to keep your investments diverse. You certainly do not want to keep them all in the same basket. So we look at industries. We certainly look at currencies. We look at opportunities from a country's perspective as well. So our investments are diverse across multiple assets, whether it be equities or commodities or bonds or what have you, but equally diverse by currencies and countries. So we're very much invested. We're very much of a global investor.
And while we're in Hong Kong, well, many people still believe that Hong Kong is a good safe haven for assets. Yeah. And since the outbreak of the US-Iran conflict, or you may call it war, well, Hong Kong has attracted considerable capital from the Middle East. Well, do you still have investments in Hong Kong?
Yes, oh yes. We have property investments. We invest in the stock markets here as well. We think that Hong Kong has a very, very bright future. Yes.
And so how do you view Hong Kong's future economic prospects, particularly when Trump is going to visit Beijing in a few days' time?
Fortunately, he is visiting Beijing. I'm very pleased that he is. Very pleased that both leaders have this opportunity to discuss, of course, the multiple issues that they confront. But for Hong Kong in particular, because you specifically asked about Hong Kong, I think as long as Hong Kong maintains what it is today, its judicial system, of course, it is its currency, which for the moment is pegged to the US dollar, which gives it stability. I'd say the economic stability here, of course, is very, very important. And all of these things bring and basically sustain confidence of both Chinese and other foreign direct investors. And that's what we see absolutely coming from the Middle East. There is indeed an inflow of investing and an inflow of trust.
Yeah. I see. So since 2019, well, Hong Kong has gradually stabilized, if you agree. And in your opinion, how should Hong Kong promote economic and trade prosperity?
Well, as I've said, I think that, of course, Hong Kong is really very dependent upon the China relationship. But Hong Kong also provides foreign direct investors a way of investing in China, but in a currency, in a hard currency, which has the liquidity of both inbound, outbound kind of investments. Yeah.
Well, do you think we actually need to do more in order to, let's say, restore foreign investor confidence?
One would always wish to do more, right, by company or country. And yes, indeed, I think that you should never take your attention off of trying to provide all investors with a sense of stability. Because one thing that investors absolutely despise is uncertainty. So if if there is any level of uncertainty, then needless to say, they're going to be extremely cautious about making any kind of commitment. But what we are seeing now in Hong Kong, I think, is a return of confidence, a return of a number of new listings that are coming to Hong Kong, the number of companies out of the Middle East that are coming to Hong Kong. So it's really becoming, as it has always been, sort of a bastion of opportunity.
Would you say the U.S.-Iran conflict actually helped Hong Kong in some ways?
That may be temporary. I think that Hong Kong's future doesn't rest on one particular incident. It really does rest upon the China relationship, the stability of Hong Kong, the opportunities in Hong Kong. That is what is really important. And that comes back to what I've said in terms of stability, whether it be economic, judicial, or currency. All of those things are important. And it would be very unfortunate to even lose one of them, because that would undercut the confidence in Hong Kong.
So returning back to your personal entrepreneur journey, when you founded Global Sources way back, information flow wasn't like what it is today, right? We have the internet, we have smartphones, all sorts of these things. How did you identify the opportunity in global trade and information service at that time?
So a very good question. So I was very fortunate. I did all of my graduate work in the United States in international trade. And I was very fortunate to secure a position in Tokyo with a publisher that was doing a publication at the time called the Importer magazine. And what it was doing was helping Japanese companies primarily market their products to the US and to Europe, primarily to the US at that time. Quite unfortunately, the president of that company unfortunately passed away. And I had to make a decision as to whether I would find another job or whether I would attempt to proceed in doing more of what we were doing with that publication. I decided the latter, fortunately, and as industries grew in the Four Tigers, I was participating and promoted all of the companies, all of the industries, in fact, for many, many years, and then subsequent to that, to China. And so we've been very much, or I've been personally, very much involved in the development of Asia.
I see. Well, do you think Alibaba, you know Alibaba, right?
Sure.
The one founded by Jack Ma. Well, do you think actually he drew some kind of inspiration from Global Sources' business model?
Well, of course, because Jack's first platform was a copy of our platform. But he did a great job. He did a lot of things with which we, as non-Chinese, could not do in China. We were very quick in terms of segueing to other businesses. One of them, of course, was our very large conference business and trade show business. Actually, we evolved as having the largest electronics show in the world, including larger than the CES show in Las Vegas. We could not find a single venue to hold the show all at one time, so we had to hold it sequentially. But we covered everything from the general household electronics to computer products and indeed to electronic components. So it was quite an exciting show and quite an exciting time.
Yeah. So looking back at your journey from arriving in Asia with in 1965, is that correct?
Correct.
With just $25, the building business, and now even a foundation and a family office. What was the most important decision that you've ever made? Coming to Hong Kong? Starting Global Sources?
All of the above. Staying in Asia, believing in Asia, participating in Asia. Unfortunately, it was very successful, and I've certainly enjoyed my career in Asia.
Well, do you find Asia being populous is one of the most important factors of why you want to be in Asia?
Populous? I'm not sure if you have to clarify that question. Populous meaning?
GDP growth.
Okay, so needless to say, Asia provided a massive opportunity in terms of its growth. And its growth was largely predicated upon its ability to export. And its export industries were labor-intensive, primarily industries. So they created a lot of jobs. And every country in Asia has benefited over the years in participating in global trade. That has improved the GDP, of course, and it has improved the tax bases. It has definitely improved the social opportunities in Asia and across Asia. So it's been terrific, and we participated, we promoted, we worked with literally hundreds and hundreds of companies in their export promotion.
Well, if you were to start all this again, would you do anything differently?
No.
Still the same. Still Asia.
I would do exactly what I did before. Yeah. We were at the right place at the right time with all of our products, with all of our publications, and we were certainly at the right time in developing our trade show business, primarily here in Hong Kong, but elsewhere. And we were at the right time in selling the enterprise when we did. And we were at the right time, I think, in establishing the foundation. The foundation serves a very important role at a critical time in Asia, if not in the world, in terms of what is the future of trade, right? And these are the things which we continue to try to address and continue to try to make a contribution.
Well, going back to that time before you exited Global Sources, well, you know, Jack Ma once joked that one of his biggest regrets was founding Alibaba because it took him so much time, so he don't actually have any time left. So do you ever felt that kind of a feeling before you exited Global Sources?
Well, it's true. It was encompassing the majority of my time. I have to say, though, I don't reject it or object to it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed basically the grassroots participation. We were at the cutting edge of industries. We were at the cutting edge of companies associated with those industries. So it was really quite exciting to see how it all evolved. Yeah.
Would you advise Jack Ma today to exit Alibaba?
No, I wouldn't advise Jack anything. He does a great job.
Yeah. So what has been your most unforgettable experience in your life that you would like to share with our viewers?
You know, I think one of the things with which has occurred to me probably more recently is self-fulfillment, right? How do you reach a point of being fulfilled in one's life? And it's not just about money. It is about developing, learning, working with who you are as a person, and your family and family engagement, and with the engagement in a community, right? And what you contribute, and what you provide. And so I feel one of the experiences I've had is reaching a point, I think, being quite self-fulfilled, and I would hope that for everyone.
Well, you know, Warren Buffett has a very interesting daily habit. Well, buying a McDonald's sandwich for breakfast and then choosing which one to pick. And he said if the stock market rises, he would pick the more expensive one, which is $3.17. And if it falls, he chooses the cheaper one, which is like $2.95. Now, the story actually shows that even billionaires could do something like that. They do not relax the discipline in small matters. And do you have any of this kind of a habit, choosing things?
Well, I don't necessarily choose fast foods. Yes, I do attempt to do things with like exercise. I do exercise every day, or at least try to do something that is active every day. I definitely try to eat healthily and eat well. And I definitely try to get sufficient sleep. But along with that, of course, is routines and maintaining a routine, which I do.
Let me put it the other way around. Let's say, let's say the stock market goes down. Would you prefer to sleep more?
I have never lost any sleep because of the stock market going up or down. Maybe I should have, maybe I could have made more money or what have you. But no, I sleep well, I must say. Yeah.
So sleep is crucial.
Well, I think it is for everyone. It's restorative. You actually recover with sleep. Yeah. But you cannot lose sight, of course, the need to exercise and to live a healthy life, if you can.
Okay, so let's come to the final part. Is there anything else you want to add or share with our viewers?
Well, yes. I guess I do. I think one of the real issues, of course, going forward, is this issue of living in a common world. We all live in the same world. We're all affected by many of the same things, whether it be the environment, the price of oil, technology and what technology, diseases like COVID. We are living in the same world. And we have a choice. We have a choice that can be a world of conflict. It can be a world of struggle and fighting and possibly dying. Or it can be a world of collaboration and cooperation and growth and prosperity. And it's for us to decide. History is not necessarily it does not provide us necessarily a good example of avoiding wars and conflicts. But I think that it is absolutely essential in today's world of advanced technologies that we learn soon before it's too late. Yes. Thank you.
For this final question, Mr. Hinrich may not have spoken in an overly direct way, but if you listen carefully, you can clearly sense what he was really trying to say. He talked about living in the same world. He talked about choices, whether we move towards conflict or towards cooperation. His tone was very measured, very restrained, but underneath it was actually a very clear value judgment. He believes in stability, in cooperation, and in creating shared prosperity through trade. In simple terms, don't go to war, do business together, flourish together. Well, I think that kind of style of expression may also reflect his background. He mentioned that his family comes from northern Germany, near the Friesland region. You can also really see that the northern European, especially northern German character in him. Reserved, disciplined, careful with words, never saying more than necessary. But precisely because of that restraint, the logic behind his thinking becomes even clearer. Another thing that left a deep impression on me was his energy and presence. Well, after this interview, I met him again at several different events. And even though he's already in his 80s, he remained remarkably active, sharp-minded, and full of energy. He delivers speeches without notes, handles long-haul flights with ease, and spends hours standing and speaking with people, always focused, always engaged. And I believe our conversations are far from over. In the future, we'll continue engaging with Mr. Hinrich and his team on major issues such as global trade, bring you more first-hand observations and insights from these discussions. So please continue to follow our channel, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. This is Raymond Chang.